Once upon a time, in a little house nestled between a sleepy willow tree and a babbling brook, lived a curious little boy named Leo. Leo's room was his kingdom, filled with towering castles of books, winding roads of colorful socks, and a big, cozy bed that was his favorite ship for sailing into dreamland. One evening, after his mom tucked him in with a kiss and a story about brave knights, Leo lay awake, listening to the gentle sounds of the night. The wind whispered secrets to the leaves outside, and the old house creaked and groaned as it settled down to sleep. But tonight, there was a new sound. A tiny, faint, almost magical sound. It was a soft tap, tap, tapping. Leo sat up in his bed, his ears perked. Where was it coming from? He looked around his moonlit room. The sound seemed to be coming from his big wooden toy chest, the one his grandpa had made for him. It was painted bright blue with puffy white clouds, and it held all his most treasured toys. Slowly, quietly, Leo slipped out of his warm covers. His bare feet made no sound on the wooden floor as he tiptoed over to the toy chest. He placed his ear against the cool wood. Tap, tap, tap. It was definitely coming from inside. His heart did a little pitter-patter of excitement. Who could be in there? He was sure he had put all his toys away neatly. With a gentle hand, Leo lifted the heavy lid. It creaked softly, like a sleepy giant yawning. He peered inside. At first, everything looked normal. His fluffy teddy bear, Barnaby, was snoozing on a pile of building blocks. His shiny red fire truck was parked next to a family of plastic dinosaurs. But then, he saw it. In the very corner of the chest, nestled amongst some soft, colorful yarn, was a tiny flicker of light. It pulsed gently, like a miniature heartbeat. As Leo's eyes adjusted, he saw that the light was coming from a little creature no bigger than his thumb. It had delicate, shimmering wings like a dragonfly, a fuzzy little body that glowed with a warm, golden light, and two big, curious eyes that blinked up at him. Leo gasped, but made sure it was a very quiet gasp so he wouldn't scare the little being. It wasn't a toy. It was alive. The creature tilted its head and let out a tiny, bell-like chime. It fluttered its wings, rising out of the yarn and hovering in the air right in front of Leo's nose. "Hello," Leo whispered, his voice full of wonder. The little creature chimed again, a happy tinkling sound. It zipped around his head in a little circle, leaving a trail of sparkling gold dust that hung in the air like tiny stars before slowly fading away. Leo giggled. This was amazing. He had a real, live, magical creature in his toy chest. He carefully reached out his hand, palm up. The tiny being seemed to think for a moment. Then it zipped down and landed right in the center of his palm. It was so light, it felt like a feather. Its little feet tickled his skin. It looked up at him with its big, trusting eyes and wiggled its tiny antennae. "What are you?" Leo asked softly. "And what are you doing in my toy chest?" The creature couldn't speak in words, but it seemed to understand. It fluttered its wings, pointing one of its tiny legs towards the colorful yarn it had been sleeping in. Leo looked closer. He saw that the yarn wasn't just a jumble. It was woven into a tiny, perfect little nest, snug and cozy. Then, the creature flew over to his collection of buttons that he kept in a small tin box. It tapped the lid with its leg. Leo opened the box for it. The creature flew inside and picked up a shiny, pearly button, carrying it back to the nest. It seemed to be decorating its little home. Leo realized the toy chest wasn't just a box for his things. For this little creature, it was a whole world. It was a safe, warm house, filled with interesting treasures. The building blocks were like mountains, the soft yarn was a forest, and the button box was a treasure cave. He decided to name his new friend Glimmer, because of its beautiful, glowing light. For the rest of the evening, Leo and Glimmer played together in secret. Glimmer showed Leo its favorite spots in the toy chest. It loved to slide down the ramp of his toy car garage and swing on the loose string of a pull-along duck. Leo, in turn, showed Glimmer his favorite things. He gently placed his fluffy bear, Barnaby, next to Glimmer's nest. Glimmer snuggled up against Barnaby's fuzzy ear, chirping contentedly. Leo realized Glimmer must have been a little lonely. He found a small, smooth seashell from his collection and placed it in the toy chest. He filled it with a few drops of water from his glass on the nightstand. It became a perfect, tiny pond for Glimmer, who dipped its little feet in and splashed around, sending tiny, shimmering droplets into the air. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, Leo started to feel sleepy. He knew he had to get back to bed. He looked at Glimmer, who was now resting in its nest, its light glowing softly like a tiny nightlight. "I have to go to sleep now, Glimmer," Leo whispered. "But I'll see you tomorrow. This will be our secret, okay?" Glimmer blinked its big eyes and let out a soft, sleepy chime, as if to say, "Okay, our secret." Leo gently closed the lid of the toy chest, leaving it open just a tiny crack so Glimmer could have fresh air. He tiptoed back to his bed, his heart full of a happy, warm secret. His room didn't feel the same anymore. It felt more magical, more alive. He snuggled under his covers, thinking about his new friend. He wondered where Glimmer came from. Did it have a family? Were there more creatures like it in the world? He smiled to himself in the dark. Finding an unexpected friend in his very own toy chest was the most wonderful surprise he could ever imagine. Every night after that, as soon as the house grew quiet, Leo would tiptoe to his toy chest. He and Glimmer would have quiet adventures. They built tiny forts out of playing cards, sailed across the toy chest sea on a boat made from a wooden block, and read stories from Leo's picture books, with Glimmer perched on the page, its glow illuminating the words. Leo learned that Glimmer loved sweet things. One night, he saved a tiny crumb from his dessert and brought it to the toy chest. Glimmer nibbled on it with delight, its light flashing brightly with happiness. Leo never told anyone about his secret friend. Glimmer was his and his alone. It was a special magic that belonged only to the quiet, moonlit hours in his room. It taught him that you can find wonder and friendship in the most unexpected places, even in an old blue toy chest full of things you thought you knew inside and out. And as he drifted off to sleep each night, he knew that just a few feet away, a tiny magical friend was sleeping soundly too, in a cozy yarn nest, dreaming of their next secret adventure together. The toy chest was no longer just a place for toys. It was a home. And Leo's room was no longer just a room. It was the gateway to a world of enchantment. Sweet dreams.